is, obviously if you clicked on this video, is we want to talk about goals and setting goals in the gym. I think it's one of the most important things you can do is set yourself a goal. I see it so often, people come into the gym month after month, year after year, and they stay exactly the same. They look like they haven't lost any weight, they haven't gotten any stronger, they haven't got any fitter, they haven't really challenged themselves. And the reason why this is because for a lot of people don't set themselves some actual realistic goals and goals that are achievable. What I hear a lot of, okay, and I've had the opportunity to talk to probably more than 1,000 people about what it is they want to get out of coming to the gym. And for most people, they're fairly vague on what it is they want to do. They'll say things like, I just want to get a little bit fitter, I just want to get, a little bit more muscle tone, I just want to lose a little bit of weight, and they're not very clear because, if you said, I just want to lose a little bit of weight, well, to tell you the truth, you could go to the toilet and then the goal's achieved. So we need to get really, really clear about why it is you're coming to the gym and what it is you want to get out of, exercise. So the goal principle we use is the SMART principle. Now, I guarantee you've heard that before, okay, but I'm going to go into really deep into it. Okay, I'm going to give realistic examples of the common goals I see in the gym and what those sort of goals are that you could set. So to quickly run through it, we've got to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Okay, so I'm going to run through individually each one of these things. Okay, so the first one we've got, guys, is the S, which is be specific. So what I've listed here is the 5 common goals, vague goals I hear from clients, new clients coming into the gym. And I want to elaborate a little bit on each one of these goals and for what you might be saying, and you might be thinking some of these goals on this side, and to what it actually means to transfer that into the gym and transfer that into a goal. So the most common one we see is, I want to lose weight. It's the most common goal I get being a personal trainer. To tell you the truth, 2/3 of our population are either classified as overweight or obese. So for a lot of people, losing weight is the most common thing they want to do. So in saying that, weight's quite a vague thing because you could go to the toilet depending on how much water you're carrying on the day. For a lot of people, you hear people go, I did this diet and the first week I lost 4 kilos. Now, majority of that is water weight, okay? So we need to be a little bit clearer on what it is we want to lose. And I guarantee for 100% of people, they don't want to lose a limb, okay? They want to lose body fat. So first, for instance, if you're saying, I would like to lose weight, technically what you're saying is I want to decrease my body fat levels. So that makes it a lot more clearer in what it is we want to achieve. The second one, and this is also the most common one, it's for someone that's just carrying a few extra kilos, doesn't necessarily need to lose a lot of weight or a lot of body fat, but they'll say something like, I'm looking to tone up, okay? Essentially all that means is that you'll be able to see a lot more muscle definition. Now for that to happen, 2 things actually need to happen. The first one is we need to decrease body fat, okay? The only reason we can't see your muscles is simply because there's body fat in the way of them. So we need to decrease that body fat, and at the same time, to create more muscle tone, understand that you can never just tone muscle, okay? You're either losing muscle or you're gaining muscle. So we also need to increase our lean muscle mass, and that's going to give a lot more definition into the muscle. So it's actually a two-pronged approach. With tone up, we want to decrease body fat and increase lean muscle mass. All right, the third one, third one I see is I want to get fit. Now this is also quite a common one. Now fit is very relative, okay? Do you want to get fit because you want to be able to run 5Ks, or do you want to get fit because you want to run in the marathon team for the Australian Olympics, okay? Fit is relative to each individual person. So when you say, I want to get fit, well that needs to be relative to where you're at. So in saying that, getting fit is simply this. It's increasing your cardiovascular output. So that means your cardio system works more efficiently. Okay, so individually that's going to vary between person and person. You might just want to be able to get up the steps at work without sort of puffing, okay? Or you might want to run a 10K, a 10K fun run. Or you might want to run a half marathon. So it's going to be relative to each person. The cool thing is we're going to go deeper onto all of these goals to give you some realistic expectations on what it is you could set. The next one, guys, and this is a super important one that I don't hear enough, but is some of the key motivators for people coming to the gym, is I want to improve my health. Once again, improving health. Well, that's going to be relative to each individual person. If I wanted to get an increase in my health, it's going to be different to someone has type 2 diabetes or is on blood pressure medication. So simple improving health, well, we've got to look at certain health indicators. Okay, are you a type 2 diabetic? Technically that means that can be reversed. Are you on high blood pressure medications? Are you on cholesterol medication? So the first thing is to look, well, what it is there a medication you want to get off? Okay, if there's nothing you want to get off and you just want to improve your overall health, okay, well we need to look at blood pressure levels. We need to look at resting heart rate and something like that. So we need to improve health, we need to find some sort of health indicator, okay, and look at it where it is now and set a goal for where you want it to be. Okay, the last one is always my favourite one. Someone says, I just want to put on weight. So they might be quite skinny or they want to increase in size. Okay, so I want to, and technically what that means is you want to increase hypertrophy. And hypertrophy basically means increasing the size of the muscle. So these are the 5 common goals that we see. What I'm going to do, I'm going to write these goals up on the corner as we go through the SMART goals. Okay, individually go through each one of them and what it is you could set. Okay, so the second goal on our SMART goals is measurement. Okay, so the key thing here is we need to be able to measure what that goal is. So simply saying I want to get fit, well, it's quite unmeasurable unless we set sort of where we are and where we want to go. So each goal has to have some sort of metric in terms of getting towards that goal. So let's firstly look at decreasing body fat levels. So one of the key ways to measure body fat levels is not a scale. The scale is probably one of the worst ways to measure body fat. We always recommend, at minimum, we do a skin fold test, so we work out our body fat percentage, or with fantastic technology we've got now, the in-body scans and the DEXA body scans. So the first thing is, to measure our body fat, we need to figure out what is our body fat percentage and work at a goal body fat percentage. So the first one for body fat is we need to figure out what is our body fat percentage. Okay. All that means is what percent of our overall body weight is body fat. Now, a metric to work with for guys, somewhere between 10 to 15 is a really, really healthy range. And girls, somewhere between 15 to 20 is a super healthy range. So that's the goal we want to get on that. Now, where you're at the moment is irrelevant, okay? It's where you want to get to. So we need to figure out where you are and we want to get to there. All right, the second one, guys, is increased muscle tone. So how do we measure that? Well, we take it to the next level. Firstly, once again, we've got to work out what our body fat percentage is. But the second thing we need to work out as well, and the cool thing is with the skin fold calipers or the in-body scanners, is we need to work out something we call lean muscle mass. Okay, so we need to work out essentially how much our body weighs if we didn't have body fat. Okay, obviously we need body fat, without it we die. But we need to work out exactly what our lean muscle mass is. So if we're looking to improve on muscle tone, we've got to do a two-tone approach. We've got to decrease our body fat, okay, increase our lean muscle mass. They're the focuses. Okay, so the third one is we're going to look at improving our cardiovascular health. Okay, so improving fitness. So a couple of ways there's a fair few ways to measure that. Some sort of fitness test would be ideal. So for a lot of people, I remember, my footy career, one of the gauges of where you were at a fitness level was running the Little Lake and measuring your time. Okay, really simple metric to measure. So you need to figure out, well, what is I want to do? You know, am I going to use the treadmill? Am I going to use the bike? Am I going to use the rower? Am I going to go for a run outside? And measure up where you're at. So let's just say, for argument's sake, let's set a time. So we want to run around Little Lake in under 15 minutes. So that could be a metric to use to gauge where we're getting fitter. So the metric would be, for increased cardiovascular, some form of fitness test. Okay. Common one a lot of people use is the beat test, used a hell of a lot in sport. So you could set something like, and you could download the beat test really easy, set it up at a basketball court, tennis court, wherever you wanted to do. So we could set the beat test as being your metric, okay, for how we're going to improve your fitness. Alright, the next one, guys, is health. Okay, so a lot of people say they want to improve health. So once again, we need to find some sort of metric. Now, for some people, the metric may be where they're at in terms of the drugs that the GP has prescribed for them. So it might be something like get off medication. Now, I understand that can't be for everyone. You might have a certain condition that requires you to constantly be on medication. But, you know, for a lot of people, you know, type 2 diabetes, I mean, a lot of people that are taking type 2 diabetes medication, and a big percentage of that can be reversed. Or high blood pressure, taking medication for that can be reversed through health and fitness. So we need to, once again, gauge a metric. Well, what is important for my health? Okay? So get off the medication. A side note though, like I know, you know, in the media it gets sort of thrown out that we're not very healthy, one thing to measure though is that our lifespan is longer than any generation in the past. So to be honest, our health is pretty good compared to other generations. And last one, guys, increase in muscle. So the increase in muscle is going to go back and we're going to look at, okay, we need to improve on lean muscle mass. So that goes back to the body skin calipers or the in-body scan or the DEXA scan. We need that measurement as a metric to work on. Guys, so the middle one is achievable. So the A in the SMART goal is achievable. Now this is something that people have a bit of a hard time trying to figure out, because if you're new to the fitness game, you may not understand exactly what is and what isn't achievable within the gym. So I'm going to break it down a little bit, and you can understand, you know, what it is you could get out of the gym. So let's firstly look at body fat. Okay, so for guys that have set the goal as decreasing body fat, what exactly is achievable? Now, as a metric, let's just use an example. Let's say you're roughly around about 30% body fat, okay? And that's sort of in the range of overweight, not obese, but just sort of overweight, okay? So let's say 30% of your overall body mass is of body fat. Okay, so what's achievable? What's achievable? Now, like I said earlier, if you're a guy, somewhere between 10 and 15% is a really, really healthy range. If you're a girl, 15 to 20% is a really, really healthy range. But how long would it take to achieve that sort of goal? If you're a guy and you're 30% and you want to get to 15%, so you essentially have to halve your body fat levels, well, how long is that going to take? And to be honest, you know, there's a lot of things that are going to come into that consideration of how long it will take. But let's be realistic. What's achievable? So 30%. Okay. Well, why did I say 10 to 15% for guys? So let's say an achievable goal is 15%, because we know that many other people are at 15%. If you were to say set 30% is your starting rate, and I want to be 5%. Now, that's the elite of the elite really only get 10 to 5%, people that are into figure competing and stuff like that. So let's say 15% is your end goal. The key though is to not be so focused on the 15%. I wouldn't set 15% straight up. Look, let's break it down into 5% intervals. So to be honest, I would use the first achievable goal to be 25%. Nice and simple, I'm looking in this set of goals to lose 5% of my body fat. Okay? Once you get to 25, you can reassess and go, okay, now I want to get to 20. Once I get to 20, now I want to get to 15. What you can find though is if you set 15% straight up, it's such a large goal to achieve that honestly, it's not a linear process. You're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. So let's focus on smaller goals to keep you really focused on the short term and then reset them again so that you are achieving your goals long term. So for you guys, I'd realistically be setting around about 5% intervals. Once you get to around about 20 to 15%, it may slow down a little bit. So that's what is really achievable in terms of the body fat realm. Alright, the second one is muscle tone. Okay, what's achievable in muscle tone? So we've distinguished that 15% for guys and say 20% for girls is a really achievable goal in terms of body fat percentage. Well, what's achievable in muscle tone? Okay, well first thing is we need to work out, like I said in the last one, we need to work out what your lean muscle mass is. Now that's going to be different for every individual. So ideally though, this is something to work with, it's a really easy metric to measure. For most people, a perfect week, okay, it is possible to improve around about 1/4 kilogram of muscle. Now that's if everything goes extremely right, plenty of sleep, you get all your training in, you're eating perfectly, you can look to improve by around about 1/4 kilogram of muscle each week. So let's say we've set this goal and it's an 8-week goal. And in the 8 weeks, first thing we want to do is we want to go from say 25% down to 20%. Okay, in an 8-week period. So let's say, in saying that, 1/4 kilo muscle a week whilst losing weight is a little bit challenging. So I would set something along the lines of, look, perfect world, you could build 2 kilos of muscle. Let's say in the 8 weeks you want to improve by 1 kilogram of muscle. 1 kilogram of muscle. Nice and simple. So all of a sudden, we've got some achievable goals. It is we want to lose 5% of body fat, 5% body fat, and at the same time we lose that 5%, we want to increase by 1 kilogram of muscle. Nice, achievable goal that you can work towards. So next one, guys, is we want to look at an increase in our cardiovascular system. Now, what's achievable for most people is really challenging depending on what it is you've done in the past. If you've played sport, if you haven't played sport, if you've been dormant for the last 20 years, is going to be challenging. Okay, but once again, we want to find the base level and be increasing on that. So let's use the Lillydale Lake example because I really like that. So let's say we did our first fitness test and we ran around Lillydale Lake. It was more of a run jog. And let's say we did the old Lillydale Lake, and let's say we did it in 21 minutes and 32 seconds. So that's your base measurement. Ideally, I feel that any time lower than this is great guns. You've done really well. But you could use, okay, I want to take off, say, I want to get it under 20 minutes in the next 8 weeks. And that's a really achievable goal. So say, under 20 minutes, nice and easy. There, you've got some metrics, okay, and it's super achievable. Now, you wouldn't run 21 minutes 32 and then go, well, in 8 weeks' time, I want to get under 10 minutes, okay? Guarantee, I've only seen, playing footy for 20 years, only a very handful of the fittest guys at the club could ever run it in under 10 minutes. I've never run it under 10 minutes, wish I could. So let's say under 20 minutes, and let's look, for example, if you were fairly fit and you ran it in 15:32, you'd say, well, I want to get in under 14 minutes. I think the key with setting this goal is set something that's a little bit achievable as well, okay? Obviously, if you go too high and too hard and you don't hit your goal, you lose that momentum moving forward. So set, a minute and a half, 2 minutes. As you're getting lower and lower, the times are going to get shorter and shorter. So if you could run it, say, in 12 minutes 40, I wouldn't be setting under 11 minutes. I'd say, well, let's get it under, say, 11 and a half. Okay? You need to sort of figure out how long it's going to take and get that done. Really, really simple, guys. Next one, guys, is improvement of health. Okay, so the next one, guys, is look, you're looking to improve your health. Now, that's a really challenging one for me to sort of give an overall example of, but let's just say you're on certain medications. Okay, at the moment, well, I think the best thing would be to have a chat with your GP and ask them, well, what's realistic? Okay, doc, I'm on these type 2 diabetes medications. I really, it's not somewhere where I want it to be. What's a realistic expectation of time that you feel I could get off these medications? Okay, and then figure it out from there. Because what's achievable to give it an overall sort of scheme of things might be very, very challenging just to give you something there. So you need to chat with your health professional about what it is you could expect to get out of improving your health, or what metrics you can measure in improving your health. Okay, and the last one, guys, is increase of muscle mass. Really, really simple. To go back to what we talked about muscle tone, like I said, first thing we need to do is work out our lean muscle mass through there. And the example I used when we talked about increasing muscle tone is somewhere around about 1/4 kilo in 1 week. So we're going to lose somewhere between, we want to increase somewhere between 1/4 kilo in 1 week. Now, in the muscle tone one, I set that a little bit lower because at the same time we're trying to lose body fat. So the art of losing body fat and gaining muscle mass at the same time is really, really challenging. Not a lot of people take on, understand how hard that actually is. It's a very, very hot topic in the health and fitness industry. But if you're just at the pure focus of increasing muscle, which is in hypertrophy of the muscle, well, you can expect something a little bit closer to this because you're not focused on losing body fat at the same time. So I think for you guys, somewhere around about 1/4 kilo a week for guys, and look, maybe around about 1/8 kilo for girls. Obviously, girls have a lower level of testosterone, so it's much harder for girls to increase in muscle mass. In saying that, ladies, don't stress. You can increase muscle mass. It can be done. So somewhere around about there. So for an 8-week goal, if you're a guy, you might say, I want to increase 2 kilograms of muscle. And for girls, I want to increase 1 kilogram of muscle. Now, I know they're little numbers, but the reality is, if you were to increase in 1 kilo of muscle, that's a huge improvement. That is a big, big improvement in your physique. Okay, you're going to feel a lot stronger, a lot better about yourself. So don't sort of go, only 1 kilo, okay? Because it's a very respectable thing to achieve. The goal, guys, is setting something that's realistic, okay? So we sort of touched, I feel like achievable and realistic are sort of in the same realm here. So once again, I'll skim over it. So like I said, body fat levels, well, look, realistic goal for body fat levels is somewhere between 10 and 15%. That's what realistically you could achieve in the gym. Anything less is achievable, but hard to get. Increase in muscle tone, well, it's going to have a similar body fat percentage, but somewhere in the realms of sort of 1 to 2 kilos in terms of muscle tone through there. Okay, what's realistic in terms of cardiovascular system? Well, that depends on our metric, what we've set. Like I said earlier, getting under sort of 10 minutes around the Ludo Lake when you're running at 21 minutes isn't really a realistic sort of goal. But getting under 20 minutes when you can run it in 21 minutes is definitely a realistic goal. I'm much more of a firm believer in setting a little bit lower than setting a little bit higher. And the reason is you can build momentum off that. The cool thing is when you achieve little goals first, okay, you create some momentum and then you start to challenge yourself to slightly bigger goals. When you come straight off the bat and say, okay, I want to go from 30% down to 10%, okay, it's such a big goal and such a huge task that you don't create momentum forward. But when you go from 30% down to say 25% and you achieve that, you feel really, really good about yourself. And then setting the next goal, 20%, it feels better, okay? You just get that momentum moving forward, okay? So improving on your health. Well, what's realistic? Once again, you're going to need to chat with your GP and talk to them. What's realistic for me? You know, what sort of blood pressure levels can I get them down to? Where can I get my cholesterol down? How long is it going to take me to get myself off these type 2 diabetes medications? Okay, what's achievable? Okay, is going to be up to your GP. And what's realistic in muscle mass? As we talked about, somewhere for guys around about a quarter of a kilo a week, and for girls around about an eighth of a kilo a week is a realistic goal to be setting towards that. Okay, so the last one is timely. Okay, the biggest thing with setting goals is having an end date. Why 12-week challenges, 8-week challenges, 28-day challenges work so well is because there's a start date and then there's an end date. Okay, think about, back if you're in high school and university, how much harder you worked when you had to have a certain assessment in by a certain date. Now, I guarantee, like everyone else, I did it myself. You might only have 2 days to go before the assessment's due, and all of a sudden, for the next 2 days, you work your bum off because you've got that end date. Now, if no one said to you had to have that end date, would you work your bum off that hard 2 days before? And the answer is 100% no. There's no way you wouldn't have done it. So by setting a start date and an end date is key towards achieving your goals, particularly that end date. So we're going to use the metrics that we're talking about and what it is you can achieve in these certain levels, okay, and I'm going to go through individually and set goals with end dates on them. But once again, the body fat percentage, so you might say, okay, in 8 weeks' time, I'm going to lose 5% body fat, okay? In 8 weeks' time, I'm going to lose, say, 3% body fat and increase 1 kilogram of muscle, okay? Cardiovascular fitness, in 8 weeks, okay, I'm going to drop 1.5 minutes off the Lillardale Lake run in 8 weeks' time. Health, once again, okay, it might be 8 weeks, I'm going to halve my blood pressure medication. Really, really simple goal through there. And increase in muscle mass, well, in 8 weeks, I want to put on 2 kilograms of muscle. All of a sudden now, we're starting to peel together and open up some really, really cool goals with start dates, end dates, and realistic goals that you can achieve in the gym. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put each goal down, okay, and you can use that as a little bit of a template to build on the goals that you want to achieve. Okay, cool. So now I've gone through each 5 of the main sort of goals and given you some actual goals that could be set. So instead of someone saying, okay, I want to lose weight, very vague goal, what is better to be setting is that we want to decrease 5% of our body fat in 8 weeks. Okay? Now, all of a sudden, you've got some sort of metric and you've got something to work towards, and it's got an end date, so there's that pressure of keeping accountable to yourself or to your trainer to make this sort of happen. And the cool thing, once you start to set these clear goals, is now all of a sudden it's much easier to set a plan to match those goals. So then you know, okay, so if I'm going to decrease by 5% body fat, well, first thing, the most important thing is I need to get my nutrition right. So you need to watch the nutritional foundation sessions, lessons in this on this website. Okay, implement them as quickly as possible. So that needs to be your first focus. Second focus is making sure you're doing a combination of weights training and cardio training. Okay, both weights training is going to have that metabolic bump, and then the cardio training is going to improve the daily calorie outtake. Okay, so really simple goal: decrease 5% body fat in 8 weeks. Okay, I would love the fact if people come into the gym, okay, and set this straight up, but the reality is most people say, I just want to lose weight. Okay, the second one for muscle tone is I want to decrease 3% body fat and increase 1 kilogram of lean muscle mass in 8 weeks as well. Okay, once again, great goal, it's realistic, it's achievable, it's got an end date on it, and now, once again, we can go to the training block or the planning board and work out, okay, what it is this person needs to do. Once again, nutrition is going to be super key, but at the same time, they want to increase on lean muscle mass. So there needs to be a little bit more resistance training, and we need to really focus on post-workout nutrition as well, because that's key to increasing lean muscle mass, key. All right, next one, run the Little Lake in under 20 minutes. The example we've been using, you run in about 21.5 minutes in 6 weeks, okay? I feel like fitness goals, cardiovascular goals can be achieved a little bit quicker than sort of body fat and lean muscle mass. Our lungs and our cardiovascular system speed up really quickly. Look, unless you're sort of a heavy smoker, you're going to have a hard time not achieving that goal. So in saying that, well, if we want to run the Little Lake in under 20 minutes, what's going to be some of our key training? Running the Little Lake. We know the Little Lake's about 2.5 Ks, so if you're coming to the gym, well, you're going to be doing somewhere between 2 and 3 Ks on the treadmill 3 to 4 times a week, because that's going to sort of match that 2.5 Ks that the Little Lake is. So you can start to plan out your training. At the same time, okay, would it be easier if you, say, lost a little bit of body fat to get around that lake? You know, if you lost, say, 3 kilos of body weight or body fat, it would be much easier to run that distance. So imagine putting a 3 kilo dumbbell and running around the Little Lake. It makes it harder. So, you know, some of these goals will interrelate with each other. In saying that, you know, if you're going to decrease 5% body fat, at the same time, you're probably going to get a little bit of muscle tone. You're definitely going to get fitter. You're definitely going to improve your health. You may not increase on lean muscle mass, but you're achieving other goals at the same time. Okay, next one. Once again, it's quite vague because individually it's going to be different from person to person, but you know, half my medication in 12 weeks. Really simple goal. Well, if that's what I want to do, now okay, I need to get better vitamins and minerals into my body. I need to lose some body fat to help with that. You know, I need to improve my fitness to help with the blood pressure and the cholesterol. So a lot of these goals intertwine with each other. And then the last goal is I want to increase 2 kilos of lean muscle in 8 weeks. Once again, we use the 1/4 kilo a week is something that's achievable. But at the same time, guys, once again, if you increase lean muscle mass in 8 weeks, well, you're probably going to improve on muscle tone as well. And crazy enough, you're probably going to get a little bit fitter because I believe that weights training is the best form of interval training there is. At the same time, you're definitely going to get stronger, so you can focus on some strength goals as well. I know I haven't touched on this today, but strength goals is also another one you could use in the same sort of metric. Yeah, guys, so look, that's the 5 common sort of goals I see. So if you sort of fit into this bubble, that gives you a bit of a template now to work with, okay, and to set your goals. So underneath this video, I've got a really cool PDF document that you can download and print out, okay, and that's where you can start to write down your goals. Big key with writing down goals is put them in a place where you see them every day. So if you write down your goals, don't just sort of put them in the drawer and, oh yeah, be done with it now, because I guarantee you're going to forget them. So write down your goals and put them in places where you see them. You know, put them up on the fridge, put them up in the bathroom, take a photo of it and have it as your screensaver on your phone so that every day it's front of mind. So when you get up, there's going to be certain things you need to do to achieve your goal. You need to get up in the morning and pack your gym bag. Okay, before bed, you need to pack your gym bag. Even though it's not the thing that's going to achieve your goals, it's going to make it easier for you to get. So I hope you got something out of this, guys. Please download the PDF below, start to set your goals, and then send them through. If you'd like me to critique them, to see if it's something that's achievable, not achievable, and you want to sort of bounce back and forth with me, that's perfectly fine. Email them through and I'll give you some information and send back. All right, guys, thanks for watching.